Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Brianna. I'm the owner and maker behind my brand Bloom, where I specialize in polymer clay jewelry. I mainly focus on earrings and I'm inspired by a lot of colorful and seasonal things. So right now I'm in the midst of my fall season where I have a lot of fun earring designs like little pumpkins, and I have ghost earrings and charm necklaces. I'm in the middle of making a lot of these designs right now because I have a very busy fall season, and one of my biggest markets local to the area is this weekend. So today is Friday, and then I have that event Saturday and Sunday. It's a 2-day event and it's about 7 hours each day, so it's a pretty long one also. It's a fall festival, so it's going to be like very family friendly, and they'll have live music and like activities, even a petting zoo I think, so it should be pretty fun, and I know it'll probably be pretty successful because I've done that same event for the holidays last year. This is just like the fall version of it, so I'm excited to see how it goes. I still have quite a few things to prep for, but I actually have a lot of like social plans today with friends and like doing things outside of the house, so I'm probably just gonna have a pretty late night at home prepping for tomorrow morning. Thankfully, this market was a little easier to set up for because I rented the tent, table, and chairs package, so all I had to bring was one additional table, all of my displays obviously, and then my earrings. I always put one shelf at the front table so that people can see it when they're walking by and catch their attention, so the full fall collection is up at the front, and then I have these taller shelves that are at the back of the tent since they're more visible, and then a clothing rack for all of my new t-shirts. This was my first market with a full tent setup since I improved a lot of my displays, like getting new tablecloths, getting new displays, painting some stuff. So it was really exciting to see it all put together with 2 tables and having the whole booth. Back from the market and happy to finally be inside now. It was a really long day. It was from 11 to 6, but that doesn't include like setup time and the time it takes to get back home. So in reality, I was actually like at the market from like 9:30 to 7. Which is a very, very long day, but this is one of my favorite markets to do because it's in a really good location with a lot of people, and they always have like a lot of activities for the market, like music, and like they had pumpkin painting today, so it's a very like family friendly event and people have a lot of fun at it, which makes it more fun to talk to the customers too because I can ask them what they've been up to and they have like some fun stories to share. It was a bit rainy today. It was like colder weather and kind of sprinkling like the majority of the day, which really sucks for a market day because that definitely impacts sales. So I was a bit worried about it when like looking at the forecast and heading to the market this morning. But it ended up still being a really good day, and I'm happy with how it went considering the weather. So let's look at some stats together. Okay, I grabbed my laptop. I have the Square report pulled up here, so let's take a look. So gross sales today was $1,189. That was from 32 transactions. And then, of course, there's fees from Square. That was $37. So really it ended up being $1,152 in sales. And I'm really happy with that amount because for a rainy day, like to break $1,000 is pretty amazing. I feel like on a rainy day that really impacts my sales by at least like $500, if not like it could be up to $1,000. It depends how bad the rain is. But at an event like this, I would expect to make about like $1,500 on a good day, so I think to have sold like around $1,200 is amazing for a rainy day. And things were even better for me actually because my friend was at another event vending for me along with her really cute crochet plushies, so we had like a shared booth in another location. which is amazing and still something I'm getting used to, like being in one place while a friend is in another place, like vending for me, because I'm seeing sales come in from a different location. So from that event, let's look here at the Square report. So according to Square, the gross sales were $783, but actually a few of those sales were for her crochet plushies, I think. So I think my sales ended up being around 700, and that was from 28 transactions. Again, not including her crochet plushies that were taken out, so maybe like 24, 25. I have to look at the numbers more carefully later. But yeah, that's pretty good. This event has actually done a lot better for me in the past. It was actually my first ever event that I did, and I had sold $1,200, and so that was really what sparked me to continue doing markets, because I was like, this is insane. Like, I thought I would barely break even, and here I am making over $1,000 at my first market ever. So this market is very near and dear to my heart, and I'm upset that I wasn't able to like be at that market, because my friend said that a lot of people came up to the booth saying that they remember my first time vending and they were back for more earrings 3 years later. And I feel like I know exactly who those people were, because like all of those interactions meant so much for me at the very beginning, and they still mean a lot whenever people like do stuff like that. But just because it was at the very beginning, I really remember these people, because it truly was like the reason why I continued doing this. So I'm kind of sad I wasn't able to see them, but it's also kind of nice in a way, because hopefully they're happy for me seeing my growth, realizing that like there's even someone else that's able to sell for me and I'm in another place. So a lot has happened for my business in 3 years. But back to the numbers. In total, from my event and the other event my friend was at, my total sales ended up being around $2,000, because I also had like cash and Venmo transactions. So that's an amazing for a single day and for a rainy day. I also think it's really fun to look at the like item sales report, where you can see which style sold the best. And so here I see that my witchy ghosties and my pumpkin tear dangles were my top sellers. And those two were closely followed by my black floral moons and black cats. This makes a lot of sense to me, because I feel like the witchy earrings have been doing really well this year, and that's why I started to come out with like more styles like that. And the pumpkin tear dangles is interesting actually, because that style did not do very well last year, and I was actually kind of thinking about like discontinuing it, but I'm glad that I stuck with it, because it's been selling really well this year. So with all of that said, I'm gonna take a break now. Not really, like it's time for bedtime. I'm just gonna go sleep and then wake up and do it all over again. So I'll talk to you tomorrow. Day 2 is done, and that means the whole market weekend is done. Like you saw in the videos, the sun really came out today, so it was much better in terms of like sales, people out and about, just like vibes all around. People are just happier when the sun is out. So before I ramble too much, let's just get back into the sales. I have my laptop for the Square report pulled up again. So for gross sales, that was $1,459. And then the fees were $47. So that ends up being $1,412. But again, I had like Venmo and cash transactions, so the total was around $1,500, which is exactly what I said last night was my goal for this type of event. When I do an event of this size, I always want to make at least like around $1,500 per day. So I didn't meet that goal yesterday, but the weather had a role in that. And then today the weather was a lot better, so I met that goal. And then in terms of like best sellers, today sunflowers were actually the top seller, and then that was followed by the witchy ghosty, which was another top seller from yesterday. And then after that, it was a cute ghosty and silly goose. Today was interesting though because the top sellers yesterday resulted in about like $190 in total, whereas a top seller today was a sunflower Huggies, but that was only $90. So that definitely means that like all of the sales came from different places. There wasn't really like one top seller. It was like all the different types of earrings sold pretty well. We just happened to be the ones that might have sold like 3 or 4 pairs and were deemed a top seller. And I'm thinking that might be because there were a lot more people today, and so maybe people of like more diverse backgrounds compared to yesterday. There were fewer people, and maybe like the type of people that come out during a rainy day are more into like the witchy earrings that I have that are more like darker tones, like the black cats and like floral moons and witchy stuff, compared to today, like lots of people are there, and so they kind of liked a wide variety of things. I don't know, that's just my theory. So in total from this weekend, my sales ended up being around $3,500, which is amazing because I have been working really hard for this one weekend since I knew it would be pretty busy. And so it's not just like these 2 days that I was putting in the work. I have been like making earrings all by myself in the studio for like the past 2 months, like little by little. So it's nice to know that all of that work paid off and all my cute little earrings found their homes this weekend. It still kind of blows my mind that I'm able to make this kind of money just by doing what I love. It's obviously a lot of hard work, but I love doing it so much. I'm so happy that people actually like what I create, and it brings people joy. Like the best part about doing these markets is that I get to talk to people, and even if I'm not talking to them, I see like their interactions when they're talking to a friend or saying they want to buy it for a friend who will love it. And just like the squeals of excitement and the giggles that I get to see people have in person really makes all of the work worth it. And it's why I keep on doing it. So thanks for following along on my weekend. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. I do a lot of videos on different markets and products and what it's like running my small business. So I hope you'll stick around, and I'll see you in the next one.